Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine. It is September 22nd and these are your headlines. First up, the Canal continues to percolate with slot and jumbo stripers and some tune-sized bluefish. Over in Rhode Island, tog season exploded this week. And heading over into Connecticut, eastern Long Island Sound is now inundated with albies. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The Fishing News is sponsored by these fine partners.
Hey guys, it's Gene from Black Hole Outfitters. Just want to let everybody know we're having our end of season clearance event. Every Old Town boat we've got hundreds of them are on sale. Get the best prices of the season on new, pre-paddled, and demo boats. Check out blackholeoutfitters.com. Give us a call at the shop. You're going to get the best price on an Old Town that you'll ever get all year long. Check us out.
So before we begin, of course, we have the news items that we're going to run through. First one's a little bit of an announcement, a little bit of a reminder, and that is that the Farmington River Watershed Association is holding a cleanup of the Farmington River this weekend. That's Saturday, the 24th, from 9 to 11:30. There's a dozen sites on the rivers where the volunteers will shove off from and pick up all the garbage that our lovely citizens leave behind. So if you want to get in on that, go to frwa.org. You can find all the details there, and also kind of isolate where you might want to shove off from. And you can donate some of your Saturday morning time and go make the what many consider to be the crown jewel of Connecticut. Make it look a little bit better. Nothing wrong with that. Another reminder is this year's Rhode Island Tog Classic, like my t-shirt here. It's going to be on October 9th. The sign-ups are still open. You can go to ritogclassic.com and sign up there. You can also make donations there. The tournament's an amazing event. It's a one-day tog tournament with phenomenal prizes, a mind-blowing table of raffle prizes, and all of the proceeds, every dime goes to the Three Angels Fund, which is a wonderful cause. These guys put together, they take all of the money that they raise and they donate it to families that are dealing with a cancer diagnosis. Both the financial hardships and the emotional hardships. Sadly, those are some things that I know more than I wish I did about. And to that end, I do have I do have a sad announcement to make, and that is that on Sunday, my dad lost his battle with leukemia. It's been a really hard ride. It's been probably definitely the worst summer of my life, and watching him go through this. And I'm not going to go on and on sometimes I feel like I overshare, but the main thing that I wanted to do is just say thank you to everybody who's supported us, who's made a cast on his behalf, or offered thoughts and prayers, or just sent an email with encouragement. It's meant the world to me, and some of the more unique things that people have done, like James Jewkes donating platelets in his name twice now. That just completely blew my mind, restored my faith in humanity. It's shown that the fishing community is a very tight-knit community. Very, very, very much appreciate that. And when I told him about all these things, because he was doing a little bit better right before this infection creeped back in, when I told him all about this stuff, he just kind of looked out the window and just couldn't even find the words. He was just so blown away to hear about all this generosity, all this goodwill, and even though it didn't see him through to the finish line, it did get him through to a point where he was back to being himself again for a couple weeks there before things went downhill again. So I just want to say thank you to you all for that. And if you feel like you want to do something, you feel like you want to send flowers or an edible arrangement or something like that, don't do it. Instead, you can go to ritogclassic.com and make a donation in his name. I talked to my mom, I talked to my brothers about this, and we all think that's a wonderful charity, and we'd like to see a greater success this year for that tournament. So head over there and make a donation in his name, or if you'd rather. And it's hard to decide which is better, but if your parents are still living, take whatever money you might have spent on me and spend it on them. Go out there and just do something, whatever it is. Make sure that, and tell them something that you wish they knew. Because you just don't know. You just don't know if you're, if you're going to get that opportunity again. So please, take my advice and do that. And once again, thank you for all your support. And the last thing that we're going to talk about, because I meant to talk about this before that, but forgot to, is the giveaway. I have looked at a lot of the photos that came in over the last few days, and there's some good ones, but I gotta tell you, there's no great ones yet. There's a couple that are close, so you still got a really good shot at winning this Couch's Cedar Works J2 Jetty Swimmer. Tough plug to get, and this one's new in the package. So you know what to do. You can go out there, catch whatever kind of fish you want. Striped bass, sunfish, bluefish, albies, whatever. Take a picture that shows you and the fish in the photo and send it to me at danderson@thefisherman.com, or text it to me on the number on the screen. And on October 7th, I'll gather up all those photos. I'll pick my favorite, and someone's going to get that wonderful plug.
I'm Captain Greg DeBrule of the party boat Blackhawk out of Niantic, Connecticut. You've seen us at the sport shows, you've seen us on TV, magazines, newspapers. Now you can come fish with us, okay? We're fast, we're clean, and we're comfortable. And besides that, we catch them, ask around. Come visit us at blackhawksportfishing.com. We'll save a seat for you.
So let's start things off on the North Shore now. I'm actually going to jump over the border a little bit here. We're going to go up to Maine. Just a few things that I heard. The surf guys have been doing pretty well in southern Maine. Portland on down, even into New Hampshire. Good numbers of fish, good sizes of fish up there, and they're getting them using a variety of methods. Eels, darters, and needlefish have been the most popular things that I've been hearing about, so that's really good news. Kind of dropping down now into Massachusetts, we're going to toss it over to James Jewkes.
Up here on the Merrimack this morning, doing a little scouting for future trips. As far as our report goes from out on Plum Island, we've seen plenty of bait moving. We had some mung that was there. It's slowly dissipating. There are fish, not as many and not as big as we really should be. But if you keep grinding, you'll find them. The guys north and south of me here up on Plum Island really have had good nights, followed up by 2-3 bad nights, and then decent nights. So we've seen some baby bonitos coming through, the peanuts have come through, silver sides, and even some sand eels have been mixed in. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the fall run, but it's in full swing, but it's not really full swinging yet. All right, Dave, that's it from Plum Island.
Thanks, James. Appreciate the report. Sounds like things are starting to come together out there, and from what I've been hearing up in Maine, it sounds like that area's going to blow up pretty soon. Guys I've talked to fishing down, from the Gloucester down into the Plymouth area, pretty good striper action in isolated pockets. Definitely some fish in the Cape Ann area. Definitely some fish around Boston Harbor, and then also that Situate Cliffs down to Plymouth area has had some fish. A lot of daytime fish have been showing up, and some good ones. Fish up into the 40-inch class. So guys are getting those on pencils and docks and things like that, and that area seems to be a pretty hot spot for striped bass, whether you're fishing from the surf or the boat. Heading out onto the Cape, I didn't hear a lot from the beaches this week. I guarantee you that there are fish being taken on those beaches right now. Just not a lot of news coming out of that area at the moment. The one place that does seem to be a little bit of a shining star right now are the Monomoy Rips. Seemed like it slowed down a little bit. Now it's firing back up again. There's slot fish, a lot of slot-sized stripers, just under, just over, and a good shot of some medium-sized bluefish in there as well. Coming down into the Nantucket Vineyard Sound area, it seems like another push of albies came in. These fish seem to be a little bit smaller in that 5 to 7 pound class, at least according to the guys that I've been talking to down that way. Same thing could be said for out on the Vineyard. And we're going to toss it out now to the guys from the Vineyard Derby and hear what they've seen this week.
Thanks, Dave. The MV Derby just wrapped up its first week, and the fishing was excellent. Currently, lead-in fish include an 18-pound bluefish caught from the boat, a 12-pound bluefish caught from the shore, a 16.5-pound false albacore caught from the boat, an 11-plus pound false albacore from the shore, and the lead-in bonito include a 10.5-pound bonito caught on the boat by a junior angler, and a 7.5-pound bone from the shore. We got a little wind on Sunday, which slowed things a bit, especially for the boat fishermen, after a few days of great fishing and really strong weigh-ins. There's 4 weeks still left in the Derby. Well over 3,000 anglers will participate. It's a great time of year on the Vineyard. There's a hint of fall in the air, and it feels like Derby time. I'll check in again next week. In the meantime, there's the grand leaderboard. And next week, we'll see if there's any changes to it. Back to you, Dave.
Great report as usual, guys, and love seeing that tradition upheld and going strong. Dropping through now into Buzzards Bay, things are starting to come together a little bit more out there now. We're starting to see more striped bass, starting to see more bluefish. The one thing that I'm hearing over and over again from guys that fish that area is that they're just not seeing the sizes that they typically expect to see at this time of the year. So there's stripers out there, but they seem to be more around the slot size, not a lot of big ones. The Canal has some big fish in it, so just got to think that as they push through, we're going to start to see more of those larger fish populating those areas that, people rely on in the fall. The last little bit of saltwater news, actually no, not the last little bit, we got 2 more. So before we head over that way, let's head up into the Canal, and we're going to toss it on over to East End Eddie.
Hi Dave, I'm here on the Cape side of the canal this morning on a west dropping tide. When I got here this morning at 3 a.m., it was dark of course, and I shined my headlamp onto the water. It's just erupted with so much bait. There's silver sides, there's peanut bunker, adult bunker, Ben Hayden, everything in here, and just so tightly packed. This bait is thicker than my wife's beef stew. I'm telling you, I've never seen more bait in the canal. Of course, that's what's bringing the stripers and the bluefish and keeping them here. So at the west end the other day, some guys caught some nice 40-inch fish in the 40-inch class, reeled out of that hole underneath the bridge. And the largest one was measured out to be 49 inches. Of course, there's 40 guys there, elbow to elbow, and they don't call it the combat zone for nothing. A lot of tangled lines, but a lot of good fish under that bridge. And down a little ways, Steve Murray caught a 36-inch striper. And down a little ways from him, I was fishing next to Justin Perdiz from Mashpee, and Justin had an Algag soft plastic white jig on, and when we started fishing, all of a sudden the surface rips up and there's a big blitz. But Justin's a smart guy because he knows that the bigger fish are on the bottom, so he left that Gags jig on, and I think it was on his second cast he reeled in a 37-inch striper. So congratulations to him. And across the way at Bell Road, Kyle Goss is from South Africa, who's here for the summer. Kyle's working in Wellfleet as a line cook at Moby Dick's, and he had a good day there. On the canal on the west end, he caught a 38-inch, a 30-inch, and he also caught a 13-pound bluefish. So he'll have some good memories to take back with him to South Africa. And moving down a little ways in the canal at Aptuxet, Derek Curley reeled in a 33-inch slot on a yellow pencil. And down towards the Bourne Bridge, 4 guys were fishing together. Tim Petrarca, Bill and the Grove Prudo, Paul the Painter Gravina, and Mike Larea were all fishing together, and all 4 of their rods bent at the same time with fat bluefish on the end. So that was a good time. And down a ways towards the Sagamore Bridge, Vietnam era Marine Corps veteran Steve Colleran caught some slots and some bluefish as he rides his electric bike up and down the canal on the mainland side. And on the east end, guys have still been doing very well with jigs and swimmers. But of course, if you're going to jig at this time, you got to bring extra soft plastics with you because the big bluefish are still there biting them off. So the Army Corps of Engineers announced the other day that if you fish in the east end on the Cape side, they're going to shut part of it down for construction from September 27th to 30th. And that's from the Sandwich Recreation Area to Pole 60, the area where the power plant is. So nobody's going to be allowed in there, including fishermen. So take note of that. And so my tip of the week is when you put stuff in the basket of your canal cruiser, your bike, just be careful everything's packed tight, because you don't want, for instance, a drawstring to a hooded sweatshirt, or maybe the strap to your surf bag. You don't want that falling out and getting in between the spokes of your wheel and causing an accident. So just make sure everything's packed in together. So until next week, be safe and catch a big one.
Last little bit of saltwater news is just some good tog fishing and some good striped bass fishing out in western Buzzards Bay. This is coming from Jason Colby and Little Sister Charters, so look him up. You can find his ad in our magazine, or you can look him up online and get in on that action. And then for the inland report, Roy Leyve is back this week. We're going to head inland and check out the ponds and see what's going on in freshwater.
Hey Dave, Roy Leyve here with this week's Western Mass Fishing Report. Last time we spoke, we needed some rain, and we have gotten some. That bit of water coming over the side of that dam, that's all new to me, man. I haven't seen that in weeks now. So good news that, we do have rain in the forecast still much needed rain, but we're actually getting it. The cooler weather has really sparked things up here in Western Mass and Central Mass as well. Smallmouth bass fishing is really picked up. It's starting to move. Everything's putting on their feed bag. I mean, this is the time of year that if you're looking to catch fish, whether it's quantity or quality, and even trophy fish, this is the time. For me, fall has always been a great time of the year to target some of the bigger fish in certain species. There's some that spawn this time of year, and there's a lot that put on a feed bag before winter. Both basses, whether it's smallmouth or largemouth. Pike right now, last week I got out for pike, and though I didn't catch any big fish, the feed bag is on, very good numbers, so quality was there. Quantity, it's coming. I don't stress it. I know those bigger fish will start moving in a little shallower. The thing with pike is their metabolism is very slow, so they'll eat and they don't have to eat for a little while. So I know if I just keep pushing at them, some of those bigger fish will show their face and I'll get my opportunity. Carp fishing's been great. Cats, stripers in the Connecticut River chasing, you got all these juvenile shad that are starting to wash back to the ocean. It's full board right now, no matter what you want to do, whether it's panfish or go catch largemouth. This is a great time in Western Mass or anywhere. I mean, it's fall fishing, so get out there, put the chores, get them out of the way, get work out of the way, and get out right now, because it's going to be short. I think winter's going to be upon us pretty quick this year. Leaves are starting to change. It's getting much colder. I haven't heard much about trout stocking, except for the fact that I know that Mass Wildlife has posted in some of their social media where they're not going to be stocking certain bodies of water this year due to the low water and temps. So we'll see what happens. But other than that, there is plenty of fish out there right now to catch. We don't need mass stocking to get them, especially trophy fish. So get out, get on the water, and I'll have another report for you next week.
We are the Fish Bites Nation, and this is your invitation. So grab some fish bites and get busy casting, because you can't join the nation without doing the catching.
Over in Rhode Island, albie fishing is still kind of got everybody held hostage there, but there's a new deputy in town, and it's looking to take over as sheriff, and that's the blackfish. I was talking to Greg Vespi, who's the president of RISA, and he sent me a message this week saying that, just kind of out of nowhere, the tog fishing just exploded in Rhode Island. One thing you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on are those regulations. We got some changes in there that happen in the middle of the fall. Right now we're at 3 fish at 16 inches per angler, but you have to remember you can only keep 1 trophy fish, which is classified as a fish 21 inches or greater. So anything, each angler gets 1 of those, and then you can fill in the blanks with the smaller fish. The other thing you have to remember as well is that you've got 10 fish per recreational vessel. So whether you got 10 guys on the boat or 2, well, you couldn't keep 10 with 2, but you know what I mean. Whether you got 10 guys or 4 guys, you got to stop at 10. So just keep your eyes on that. Make sure you read the regs before you head out, and you should be good to go. In that regard, on the albie side of things, we seem to be seeing another push of fish as well. We're starting to see some mixing in of some smaller albies in that 5 to 7 pound class. They're joining the really big ones that we had seen earlier in the season. And they do seem to be spreading out again, so you're seeing fish from the eastern side of the state all the way to the western side of the state and all the way into Long Island Sound as well. Doesn't seem to be a king bait necessarily, although I will say most guys seem to be throwing albie snacks. But the albie fishing continues to be very good, whether you're shore, boat, kayak, stand-up paddleboard, doesn't really matter. The main thing is find a bait, and finding bait lately just really has not been easy. I mean, it has not been difficult, I should say. There's bait everywhere. On the striper end of things, we've got some mullet now coming out of the bay, and that is firing up a lot of slot-sized fish that are running along like the Newport shoreline, Narragansett shoreline, and all along South County. Boat guys are getting in on it just as much as the surf guys, but fishing's been pretty good, and a lot of guys fishing higher speed offerings. That just seems to be the key as it stands right now. For a little bit more on what's going on in the central part of the state, let's toss it over now to Captain John Lee from JL Charters.
This week's we've been doing kind of albacore trips and bottom fishing trips. We'll start off looking for albies and then shift to bottom fishing. That's been working out for us, fishing mostly from kind of Jamestown through Narragansett out to Point Judith. We've been getting the albies on everything that everyone else has been throwing. The Block Island scene, I'm not sure. The bottom fishing south of the islands has been quite good. That's codfish, black sea bass, big scup, remnants of fluke. But I have no idea of the striper bite. I think we're still in a lull out there, and we're still kind of in a lull on the South Shore. Some of my surf cast friends are picking them up at night, but we haven't really been doing that. So we got weather coming. We got a building groundswell. It's Wednesday. That groundswell is going to build Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and we're going to have strong winds out of the west. So this is really going to shuffle the deck. We're going to get dirty water, strong winds, and that's going to rearrange things. It might push the albies to the west. Might bring stripers here. I don't know, but I'll get back with you next week. Have a good one.
And that's the story that I have for you guys in Rhode Island this week. Heading over into Connecticut now, the albie fishing is definitely the thing that's dominating most of these, most fishermen's minds at the moment. It's not every year that we get a really good shot of albies in the sound, and it seems like we're at the beginning of a pretty good shot of albies right now. So guys are finding them from fishers all the way up along the Connecticut shoreline and all the way out to the Connecticut River, and I wouldn't be surprised if they've moved past that by now, but definitely good numbers of albies in that area, and it's definitely creating a lot of hysteria. Bass fishing is definitely picking up also, whether you're fishing around fishers or you're up along that same shoreline, the Thames to the Niantic all the way out to the Connecticut River. It seems to be the hottest zone for the biggest bass right now. And a lot of guys are cashing in, whether you're boat, shore, day and night. It's just the fishing's been really good, and they've had those fish in that area for quite a while now. For a little bit more on what's going on in that region, let's toss it over now to Captain Mike Roy from Real Cast Charters.
For this week's Fisherman Report, the third week of September, we are in the fall run. There's an increase of false albacore, striped bass, and bluefish. They're feeding on peanut bunker, bay anchovies, and silver sides. The water temperature in Long Island Sound is still around the low 70-degree range. We've had summer-like weather, but by the end of this week, the temperatures are going to start to drop. And as that water cools, we should really see an increase in the fish aggression and fish migration, and it should really kick off. And make the fishing a lot better. The only challenge is going to be some of the wind that we're getting. We had a big blow a couple days ago. We're going to get another big blow in a couple days. So that's fairly common in the fall, and that will definitely shake things up a bit. The bottom fishing is still consistent for black sea bass, and in a couple weeks, October 10th is the opener for blackfish. So good luck out there.
Heading west from the Connecticut River, definitely seeing the best numbers of bluefish in this area, from like Old Lyme out to Clinton and even like out to New Haven. That seems to be like the hot zone for bluefish. Good numbers of bass mixing in, mostly smaller bass or up into the slot, say. Good porgy fishing on all those rocks, and even out at the ends of the reefs out there, 6 Mile southwest and the others, where the water really drops off. Guys are finding some sea bass out that way as well. As we head further into the sound, bass fishing seems to be picking up again. There's some bigger bluefish out that way as well. You're going to find both of those, congregating more or less around the bunker schools. For a little bit more on what's going on in the Western Sound, let's toss it over now to Max Finch from Fisherman's World.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World. This is the name of this week. The albies have showed up in full force in our local area. They're inshore. The hottest bite right now is in the middle of the sound. So, just dead center, I would say hot spots are like off of Kakini Shoals, off of Rhode Island, off of Penfield, and then, guys shooting across. There's been fish at Cranes. We actually have seen them everywhere we've gone this, today. The local fluke bite is so-so. I actually went fluking with Rick, the shop owner, yesterday after my birthday. We had like a little over a dozen fish with 3 keepers in the mix, so that was cool. Places like 26, can 24, and then, like 28C drifting the humps. The striped bass bite has definitely been good this week too, with all the small bait around. They're inshore around the islands, and then in our deeper water reefs, diamond jig. And the diamond jig bite at 11B seemed to calm down a lot. But if you definitely get inshore, our harbors and estuaries are loaded with peanuts, and the bass and blues been keying in on them. The black sea bass bite is definitely still good out in the deeper wrecks. We won't see those fish really start moving shallow until around the blackfish open or a little after that. And then porgies, the porgy bite's still good. These fish will start moving, deeper water when the water temps start to cool down. But right now, guys are still catching them from the beaches, places like Sherwood Island and Capt here. Other than that, everybody's got the albie fever. Me and Lauren have been out here all day. We've been catching them. Throwing stuff like albie snacks seems to be the hot ticket right now. And then like epoxy jigs are always popular. All right, everyone. Thanks and good luck.
And that's what I have for you guys, the reports this week. Hopefully you'll find them useful. The fishing's really phenomenal. I mean, it's late September. It's hard to beat this time of year, whether you go out day or night, no matter what you're fishing for. You got a good shot at making it happen. If you're not a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, I highly recommend you head over to our website at thefisherman.com and see what we've got going on. There's plenty of free content on there to give you a good flavor of what we offer. And but even after that, if you're still not interested, and I have to remind you, it is the best $30 you can spend at fishing. But if you're still not interested, at the very least, give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube, and hit that little bell thing down there so you get a notification every time we post something new. And last but not least, don't forget that this is also available as a podcast. You can find it on iTunes, you can find it on Google Podcasts, and you can listen instead of watch and still get all the same information. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
And now for the current Dreamboat standings. We start off with confirmation of our August Fish of the Month winner, which is awarded to the largest sea bass entered in August. It goes to John Woodruff of Canal, New Jersey, with a 4.44-pound entry. Congratulations, John, as he wins a Tsunami Vic reel and a Dexter Outdoors dual edge 8-inch flexible fillet knife. The current leaderboard stays the same. Rob Carazano is in first. Dean Paella is in second. Sam Dibner third. Garrett Weir in fourth. The Dreamboat Fishing Challenge is the Fisherman subscriber-only multi-species fishing competition with a chance to win a new Steiger Craft 23 Miami powered by Yamaha, along with many other great prizes. Visit thefisherman.com to subscribe and get all the details so you can be part of the action.
Hey everybody, it's Dave Anderson. I just want to give you a quick rundown of what's going on in the Coastal Kayak Clash this week. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a ball game. Bob Wagner came roaring in with 2 entries this week, whittling Justin Oster's tournament leading score from 12 down to 9. Here's how it went down. Bob Wagner first entered a 26-inch albie, which got him in 3rd place for the hardtail category. We also had 2 other entries, one from Mike Radzizewski at 26.25, and then the category leading fish by Tom Hode at 26.5 inches. Next, Bob Wagner came back at us again with a 28 3/4 inch weak fish, which is good enough for 2nd place in the category. At the moment, we have Justin Oster still leading with 9 points, Bob Wagner right behind him with 8 points, and Tom Hode taking down 3rd place with 6 points.